Good evening, and welcome to the Mamie Keith and Eileen Bradley Educational Foundation, also known as Educate Our Youth, live broadcast. The mission of Educate Our Youth is to make college more accessible through education, mentoring, professional development, and any other means available to students by offering such programs as ACT and SAT workshops, tour college campuses, assist when applying for financial aid, financial literacy, young entrepreneurship, and financial workshops. Our guest this evening is Ms. Kim Myers. She is family consumer science, career technology, education specialist with Horry County School District. Hello and welcome, Kim.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Listen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Kimberley Myers. I'm the daughter of Sadie and Tim Myers. Some of the things that I enjoy doing is sitting outside, drinking a hot cup of tea, just enjoying the birds. I love new adventures. I love traveling. I love Black history. That's just a little bit about me.
Great, great. Sounds interesting. So, Kimberly, today we're going to talk about developing domestic skills, but I want to begin the conversation off with life skills. And I was thinking while we were coming on is that we really start developing life skills very young.
Yeah.
And I say that, from a toddler aspect, learn to play together, learn to share,
Mhm.
learn to communicate with mommy and daddy, or siblings. The critical thinking and all that comes along a little later. So, what would you say about children and their developing life skills?
I think is critical. And like you said before, to start early, the African proverb said, "Give a man a fish, and you'll feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you will feed him for a lifetime," and that's true.
Right.
And as a family consumer science high school teacher, um, I get kids from all walks of life. Some
Yeah.
that have experience, some that don't, based on their upbringing. And it is my job to regardless of how I get them, to give them what they need to be independent adults.
Oh yes, yes, exactly. Because sometimes and not bashing any parent, but
Mhm.
sometimes they don't get all of that, at home. Um, and a lot of times they get it from teachers like yourself,
That's true.
or just from a regular teacher, not necessarily a consumer science teacher, but just a regular English or math teacher who take up time to work with them and explain some life to them. I was thinking because of the pandemic, and the children was out with COVID a lot. And from what I heard from ABC News this morning, COVID really hasn't gone away,
No.
and that there's a new variant out. So I was wondering, how could we make suggestions to children, our students, and adults to help them to while they got all this free time on their hands outside of doing their classwork. Let's talk about some domestic skills that they can develop. Um, I
Well,
know.
when
Go ahead.
Well, when you think about domestic skills, most people look at, doing laundry, cooking, organization, management skills, cleaning the house, art, like I said before, organization, money management, and
Right.
also, communication skills.
Hmm.
And just as you said before, yes, parents are the create the foundation or should
Right.
create the foundation for children. But even if they have not had a chance to create the foundation, children can learn and develop along the way, develop those skills. And as a parent, just like you said, students are staying home,
Yeah.
and it's a part of the pandemic, and it's still not too late. And one of the things that I would suggest is to come up with a compromise with children. Okay, I
Yeah.
know in my classroom I come up with a compromise with them, something that something that they want to do. Okay,
Right.
with good behavior, we're gonna have a fun food Friday. And Fun Food Friday in my foods and nutrition class means that they bring in the food. They can cook
Okay.
anything they want to cook, and they
Okay.
look forward to it. They would have a Fun Food Friday, every semester if they could, you
Okay.
know. And
Yeah.
so, the compromise is okay, you do well in class, and then I grant you, this opportunity to cook in the kitchen.
Right. Right.
And
And
that's
that's
just
good.
yeah, that's and they absolutely love it.
I'm sure they do because they're getting to eat what they like, and they're learning how to cook it in the process.
That's right.
Yeah. I cooked my first meal at the age of 7,
Wow.
just from watching my mom cook. But growing up, when I grew up, we were latchkey kids. I know that term came out much later when my children were younger, but I was a latchkey child because our parents had to work. So you learn how to cook, you learn how to iron, you know, separate clothing,
That's right.
what the whites from the colors and that sort of thing. And whereas you cook on Fridays, they can bring food and they enjoy that. For me, and this is another, I know parents may not want to do this, but that was part of my allowance. If I did my chores
Hmm.
and did them well, then I got my little change every Friday. And we walk downtown the woods, five and dime to buy some scotches. So when you see this, would you think a reward like that, do you think that would be effective?
Oh yes. Oh yes. In education, it's a lot of things that we do in education is science-based things that have been tried and true,
Mhm.
and we use some of the findings of different educational theorists. And as you were talking, I was thinking about B.F. Skinner.
Okay.
And B.F. Skinner said the significance was that parents and other caregivers can use rewards and punishments to influence a child's behavior,
Mhm.
their experiences. And that's certainly true.
Mhm.
If you think about it, if a child acts out, one of the things that parents do um, to alleviate that behavior is a punishment.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so if you turn it around like your parents did, um, you know, if you did your chores, you got a reward. So,
Exactly.
and your reward was monetary.
Right.
And in this day and age, yes, I think that does work. Um, I think that does work, but I also think that just parents having a candid discussion with children about the relevance of why they need to do what they need to do. I think that that's effective also. Sitting down and just talking with them,
Mhm.
telling them, life skills. I remember a time with my aunt, we used to clean condos. And, at home, cleaning at home is different from commercial cleaning. And
Right.
I remember my aunt face say, come here, Kim, let me show you how to clean this bathroom because you got to wipe it down dry. You can't leave any water.
Right.
And,
Right.
that was something that you would think that I would know to do. But because it was in a commercial setting, I've never done it before, then, she had to show me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And she did. And from there on, we cleaned condos all summer. We were good to go.
Because you knew what to do.
Exactly.
Mhm. And it doesn't take well, I keep reverting back to myself and to my children. My oldest son learned to wash clothes at age 12, and they had chores as well. So, and I would come home. Well, Ian was kind of late, so Terry would pick up the slack for him. But for the most part, it was done. And I think they waited until about 4 o'clock to start working before I got home, right? Especially in the summertime when they were out of school. But some children don't see it as rewarding, to keep the house clean or to help mom keep the kitchen clean or to wash their clothes. They feel as though that's what mom is there for. That's what mom's supposed to do, not me. So how do we work? What do we do to work with them with those that type of attitude? How can we convince them to say, okay, step in and your mom will hook you up, if you do what she needs done.
Well, it kind of goes back to having that foundation, but I I think working together, like a collaboration or teamwork, that
Okay.
works also. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I don't have any children, but when my nephew comes over here, sometimes I'll have him to cook with me because I want to teach him how to cook. So
Right.
I'll say, okay, Justin, come on, let's make some. The last time we made a apple bread, and he was so proud, and I gave him positive reinforcement, and it was so good,
Mhm.
and he took the rest of it home. But he was proud of what he created,
Right.
even though we did it together and had that time together. But and with the positive reinforcement, and that just he was looking forward to doing it again.
Well, that's great because with this generation of children now, I don't know what makes it work for them. Yeah, because I have a 6-year-old granddaughter. Started out doing well, and then she stopped. So, so I'm like, so you don't want the money for keeping your room clean, and you don't want to earn this, but you want to get your hair and nails done.
Well, they have to have they have to see the relevance in it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it has to be a passion for them in
Okay.
order for them to to want to do it. um I think the older they get, you know the reward should pay off,
Just
you
right.
know
Okay. Okay.
but but I'm going to say on YouTube I always see about pandemic babies. Well, I
Right.
can write a book about pandemic teens
Okay.
because the children have changed in the last 2 years. During the COVID situation, their whole attitudes, their demeanor, more laid back,
Mhm.
and that's not necessarily a good thing. You know, just not they just not caring about the things around them. And so once they develop their own passion and they see the tunnel at the end of a light at the end of the tunnel,
Right.
then it's not really going to be relevant for them. So and they have to have some type of buy-in. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. You said something that's very profound. The COVID has changed our children's attitude
Mhm.
about everything. I don't even know. I can't put my hand on what their worldview is at this point.
That's true.
Um, from a teacher's perspective, what would you suggest that me, a grandparent, or other parents, how should we address that? I also heard this morning on the news that I watch TV all the time, so I'm always watching news stations that mental health and children is very high right now, and they seem to think because of COVID and because of being home virtual and not being able to socialize and things of that nature. So, what do we need? What can you share with us, or advice can you give us that can help kind of pull them back toward the center where they used to be?
Janet, as you were talking, and you actually said it, just the being social with the people around them, putting those devices down, having a conversation,
Hmm.
talking about the day, and just and listening at what they have to say,
Yeah.
laughing and smiling. They're so secluded for most of the
Hmm.
day, and even most of the evening. And even though they're in now that we're back to school, even though they're surrounded by hundreds of people, they're still in a mental state. Some of them, that
Right.
they're not present.
Right.
They're physically present but not mentally present. And so, having someone to talk to, and, just spending that time together. If you think about it, back in the day, people didn't have devices. So the only way they were able to communicate is by talking, by spending time. This when people would come over here, I remember, different family members pre-COVID would just come over here, spend
Right.
some of the evening, talk around the table about what's going on in the community or whatever life, and just spending that time together. And
Right.
so they don't have that. And then with I come from a generation where I have older parents. They're in their 70s,
Hmm.
you know um and they valued that. But the younger generation have younger parents that may not have experienced that.
Right, right,
Having being social may not be important to them.
right.
We're not an island. We have to
Mhm.
work together and live together and interact with other people. And pandemic teens don't necessarily see that. They see, they want to have a conversation through a cell phone or through text messaging, or I mean,
Right.
excuse me, text messaging, or social media, rather than
TikTok.
sit down. And that goes back to, one of the things that I listed as one of the skills, the domestic skills, is how to talk on the phone, how to
Right.
talk to people.
Yeah.
And, y- you know,
That is so true. And not saying what is the I and the U for I love you, what I'm saying, love you, not L and the U, I love you, that sort of thing. Um and that is so what everything you said it makes a lot of sense. And it's I wonder how we could work with the parents, say the 30 something with teenagers. Um have you seen the school assisting in any type of group programs that can bring parents out other than parent teacher conference?
um, we do a parent teacher conference. I'm quite sure the lower grades probably have family night.
Okay.
But it,
Okay.
we did have different things at the school,
Mhm.
but we're trying to ease back into regular ed now. And so,
Right.
I was just talking to some of my pandemic teens today, and they were talking about they didn't like being in the cafeteria before school started. And I said, that's the norm. Y'all
Yeah.
always stayed in the cafeteria so you'll have time to socialize. And they were like, it's
Right.
just, they guess what they said to me? Miss Myers, there's just too many people. I don't like being in there in the morning.
Are you serious? So
I'm
what?
so serious. And so if you think about it, and they were like, well, pre-COVID, we were in the 8th grade.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So and
So they were, yeah, they was led to the to the lunchroom and out for recess and back to the room. Yeah.
yeah, they were in the 8th grade. So but they as we transition, currently just parent teacher conferences um is the only thing on I would say on the high school level.
No level, right. Right.
Mhm.
That's something interesting I need to look into is to um how to bring parents. It's just hard trying to get parents to come together
It is.
on behalf of their children. It's very hard. But there gotta be a way, and there gotta be a niche. I just have to find that niche, you know, to something to convince them or coerce them or to come out and let's sit down and talk and maybe even do a session, with some teachers or and the parents to come out and talk and um even some school psychologists, to be involved because sometimes when you let them talk and you listen to what they're saying and then you can give them some feedback and you can kind of make a determination whether this child needs some help or not, there's something going on here, so I think that would be a great idea if we could put something together to work with our parents with their children,
Yes.
because domestic skills is very important and there are a lot of parents that's working
Mhm.
that needs help, at home, you know. And I think hopefully that some moms, when they get home, say, "Look, I work all day. You can at least help," that kind of thing, or maybe show them,
Yeah.
because they don't know how to clean up a room or clean up a house, and they're not gonna do a good job.
Yeah.
So show them what to do. And children are different. I'm a totally different generation. We just jumped in. We
Mhm.
observed our mothers, cleaning and cooking and things of that nature. And so when it was time, and especially when you fall on the family tree of an older daughter, such as I, you it's just automatic.
Mhm.
It's just automatic. So hopefully we can get some domestic skills, something going on, something we can pass on to the kids. And I'm sure through your classroom, you're doing an excellent job is talking with them, about how they can develop and about helping their parents. Do any of them ever talk about what they may do at home, in reference to house cleaning and things of that nature?
Sometimes it comes up, but as a teacher, and working in the kitchen, I can tell which students work at home and
Okay,
which work in the kitchen, who help either cook or clean up and who
right,
do not, just based on behavior,
right,
you
exactly.
know. But most of them don't have to. And we've had conversations, candid conversations about that,
Mhm.
from even from a financial standpoint, um, I mean, I started working in the eighth grade, and we had to bring so much money home to help the household. My mother said, "You had to live here, and I have to feed you. We have to pay for this house and lights and water, and everybody is going to make a contribution."
Exactly,
And
exactly.
and she found me my first real job at A&P grocery store because
Okay.
she went and talked to Mr. Girardi Livingston,
Yeah,
and
okay.
because she said she needs to work, she needs to make money, and that was the end of that. And I've been working ever since.
But
So
it felt good having your own money, though, didn't it?
it did,
Yeah.
and then not only that, but making a contribution to my
Hmm.
family,
Hmm.
because we all had to pull together, me, my sisters, my brother,
Yeah.
and my parents, to make it happen, to make it work.
Exactly, because somebody had to pay for that light bill and that phone bill. I begged for a phone bill. I mean, a phone in the house. We got a phone to 1965, and I begged for that phone. Well, when I got that phone too, and that was my bill because there was no long distance calls. But that's what I'm saying. That local calls is all I had to worry about paying. You know, but it was okay. I had to I work and I had my little change. I'd give it to mother. She'd pay that phone bill.
That's right.
And so I think if we, Kim, we could get back to basics, back to and I know we're not
Mhm.
going to go back. That's just wishful thinking. But it would be so nice if the mentality was turned back just on home life and domestic skills and not the overall situation
I
um,
got you.
60 years ago. We don't want to go back to there. But as far as how our parents raised us, and what they instilled in us, if we could bring that forward into this generation, I think it would just make a whole lot of sense and it would help a lot of students out.
I agree, certainly.
Hmm. Well, listen, this conversation has been really great. And I'm so happy that you joined me today.
Thank
And
you.
this is a conversation that we hopefully will have again sometime soon. And I'm serious. I'm going to look into maybe working with some, finding out how can I pull in some parents, and
Okay.
if I can get it together and get some good feedback. I will contact you. Maybe we can form a little panel, and we can have a discussion about helping our kids. We don't want to lose our students.
No,
We
no,
love.
because they're a future.
They are. They are. And
Mhm.
I want them to learn how to write their name in cursive. You know? So
Look, I truly understand, and we practice that in my class.
that's great. Great.
Yes.
Great. Great. Well, listen, you have a great night. Again, thank you so much for coming on this afternoon. Take care and be blessed.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.